right. Hello, and welcome to the Joy Link, where we share with you how to live a more joyful life. I'm your co-host Brian, and I'm joined by my co-host Julia. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Hello, everyone. What do you think about our new opening line? We've been working hard on it. I think it's way more simplified, but let us know what do you think. And today we are diving deeper into yoga. And I have a few questions to you. So, first of all, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word yoga? Do you see blonde girls or just girls wearing tie leggings or hippie guys with a long hair? Or is there something more deeper and meaningful behind it for you? Anyways, you will find out in today's episode. So I would just like to take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and Brian's probably too, for listening to our podcast. I'm aware how many podcasts are out there, so I'm thankful that you chose us, and we do our best to be better. And you are amazing. And let's dive in. Brian, what are we talking today? What they will learn about?
Right. We're going to start talking about the philosophy of yoga and go deeper into that. You'll understand why all the yogis are so relaxed and even how you can apply this to one or two different ways in your life. We're going to expand your knowledge about yoga. And then you definitely want to wait to the end for the weekly task where we'll support you to implement and put into practice everything you learned during the episode so you can make the most out of your time.
Yes, so we are starting it today. What is yoga? So I will just start with a term that yoga itself means union or to join. So it basically refers to the union of the self, like a person, with the universal consciousness. That's it. And as the ultimate goal of yoga is to realize the connectedness with the universe and that it's all intertwined, that you are not an individual person, that there is more, and you are impacting everything and influencing everything, and everything it's influencing and impacting you. Brian, what else do we know about yoga?
It's an incredibly ancient practice for developing and enhancing your mind physically as well, how to self-regulate the mind, even going into life's purpose and meaning. The actual physical part really involves stretching and flexibility so you can build strength. And depending on the class and the level you're in, it's much more than the movement. Like you said, there is this overarching concept of union where you are a co-creator in this process of life.
Yeah, exactly like you are saying. People usually think that yoga is just the movement, which are called asanas, but in
Right.
fact, they are 8 limbs of yoga. So some of the limbs are, so first one we already mentioned, it's asana, and asana's function is to stretch. So all what you think out there, it's pretty much practicing asanas, and the purpose of it is to prepare body for hours of meditations, which is not usually practiced in the Western world. It's usually 10 or 15 minutes, but in probably origin, right, India, they do it for way longer.
All right.
And I think one of the other limb, it's Brian's favorite. Do you know which one?
The pranayama, the breath
Yes,
control, yes, that is a very, very important one in combination with dhyana, which is the meditation part. So combining those two.
exactly. So there are two. Usually people are connecting those. So there is yama, the which deals with ethical standards. So it sets the guides. We'll get to it later. And then there is
Niyamas, yeah, those
niyamas.
personal
Yes.
observations.
And then we have,
Dharana, that's the concentration, focus.
yeah, I lost that one for a second.
And then the pratyahara, the withdrawal of the senses.
Yeah.
Now, these are all different, connected into the experience of both the physical movement of yoga and the meditation practice. So they're overlapping in the experience, leading up to the final one, which is samadhi.
Samandhi. Yeah.
Yes.
It's which means enlightenment or bliss. So this is like the final stage where it's summing it all up together and you have this amazing experience.
Right.
After it happens after a long time. So it's not beginners level, but it's
Right.
yeah. So as you can see, there is, I got a little bit lost in those names, but as you can see, there is much more to yoga than fitness or its entire philosophy. And actually, when I have one of the books where it was even about the food, what you should eat and how is it impacting your well-being and your body, depending on what kind of person you are.
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to those 8 different limbs, those are some of the different experiences that we can both create and participate in. And the funny thing is that is mainly a Eastern philosophy and definition. And then when you look at the Western science on the other side, they are agreeing with all of the mental and physical benefits. When it comes to the physical benefits, the science is really telling us that it reduces arthritis, lower back pain, blood pressure, risk of heart disease, and reduces one of the big ones is inflammation in the body, which is one of the keys to being joyful, right? It can increase sleep quality and your physical performance and energy. It improves balance, strength, flexibility, and improves your posture. And, when it comes to the yogic breathing techniques, which I'm a big fan of, the pranayama breathing, it improves many different systems in the body as well, right? The cardiovascular in particular, because we're controlling our breathing and really slowing our heart rate down. And the research shows that when you have a lower heart rate throughout your life, you live longer. So if you want to live long, you've got to relax. And you can do that by doing more yoga, calming the body and the mind. And then so many different mental benefits as well, right? Between reduced anxiety and depression, right? And that's really coming from the Harvard studies. It decreases cortisol, which lessens stress and reduces PTSD and negative emotions, and increasing mental alertness, social emotional relationships. And yoga really activates the part of the brain that's responsible for motivation, attention, and neuroplasticity. And it's funny now because as I was digging into the research around how the Western science is really implementing yoga into its practice, now in the US, there are many different cancer centers that are using yoga to clinically treat cancer. So,
Wow.
which is just a wild thing to think, right? They're going away from medicine and something that's free, right? And this, all of those things lead to experiencing increased joy in your life. So when you feel good, you shine with joy. And so by feeling better mentally and physically and understanding those deeper aspects of what yoga can bring, you get those emotional boosts, you get that spiritual boost as well. And when it really comes down to the simplicity of it, if you can breathe, you can do yoga. So it's really for everybody.
Yeah, so what you're saying that the science is catching up with Asian wisdom of yoga because I think yoga been around for thousands of years. So it's fascinating. I fully agree with all what you just said. I've experienced this on myself. I think, do you do yoga?
Yeah, I do every
Yeah.
morning, a sun
Yes.
salutation every morning.
This one?
I do 2 sun salutations.
That's very nice. So
Mm.
yeah, I've been practicing yoga since I was 16, so it's over a decade, and I can definitely tell from my experience that all the benefits are there. But also in my journey, what happened, it was at first it was challenging on the body because some asanas they are challenging. They meant to challenge us. But then when I got a hang of it, it was challenging on my mind to be able to connect it all, right? And then to make this mind, body, and breath connection, all of that, it just feels like meditation. So definitely I can feel it on myself, like being more calmer, more, yeah, like this is one of my tools to cope with stress and anxiety. So that's definitely impacts my joy.
Yeah, and the science really backs you up on that too.
Yeah.
You know, going from that ancient wisdom, it's really important that we apply those into our life. And yoga is incredibly deep in the different areas, right? It's even besides the 8 limbs, there are also different types of yoga that you can try. So there's physical movements, there's really intense ones, and then there's very relaxed ones. And you can put yourself in a hot room as well, right? And versus, like normal room temperature. And so there's really different ways to experience all the different facets of what yoga is. And those will, of course, like you said, Julia, affect the mind, the body, and the spirit to bring all of those into a state of more calm and joyful experience.
Exactly. I agree that there are so many types of yoga, from yin yoga, which is much more peaceful, to power yoga, which you sweat and you are resting in downward facing dog, which is still challenging. But also, I just want to mention that traditionally in India, yoga, you can do it in pajamas. You don't need fancy outfit. You don't need anything. If you if you would see sometimes my outfits that I do yoga, that's definitely not Instagram friendly, I would say. But it doesn't matter. It's all about that you take a moment and do it something for yourself. And this is, I think, yoga, it's a quick win because you do something for your body, mind, and spirit, which is a 3-in-1. So it's definitely worth it. So if you would like to try it, then you don't need much. You can even do it on the grass or on your carpet or in your bed. There are so many types.
Yeah, and how I experience yoga is every morning, it's the second thing that I do in the morning. I start with meditation and then I go straight into yoga, like waking up the body. So I start by waking up the mind, setting my intentions for the day. What is today going to look like? All the mindfulness practices. And then once I get up, I'm going to start moving the blood throughout the body, waking up the organs, like, let's go, here we go. And it's also to see what is running in the mind, right? It's a few moments just to be quiet and focus in the moment, like in the space between thoughts, and to create that rhythm between the breath and the body, right? So you start to get into flow, like one of the first things in the morning. So I definitely recommend that as a morning practice.
So if you're inspired by what is Brian saying about to start the day with meditation and yoga, right? Like asanas, it's not yoga in the whole, it's just a part of yoga. I can give you some tips how you can live like a yogi. So pranayama and asanas are just a part of it, but there is a set of rules that you need to follow, right? Like in the Christianity, there is Decalogue. Like every group, they have their rules, right? So this is a guidance, I think, more guidance line or the points to follow that yogis have. So in niyamas, this is something that the restraints. So you should practice non-violence, like do not violate other beings. That's why a lot of yogis are vegetarians, because they don't believe in harming other beings for the, yeah. And then there is about truthfulness, about living your truth. Then there is about non-stealing, and there is a part of gathering knowledge. And the last bit is about not it's called non-possessiveness, but it's the art of letting go of the things that they no longer serve you. So it's like we often plunge in our life, oh my God, I need to stay to this, or like I invested so much time and money into this relationship or into this business, and we just cannot let go. No, yogi, let go. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then we have this aspect of observances, and then practicing, oh, and this is I love in one of my yoga practice, which is practicing the intention. Make sure that you have a clean intentions of your mind, so your thoughts are clear, your communication and your intention. So it's beautiful. And then it's contentment, right? So it's this pursuit of this inner joy. Then there is also about self-discipline, of course, and then self-study to be aware of who you are and kind of getting more of that. And then it's about the last bit, it's about surrendering to a higher power, that it's about this trust that there is more than you are. So all of that, but at the end, there is still, you need to surrender and trust that everything, it's the way how it should be and in the benefits of you and your growth.
Yeah, those guidelines that we can live our lives by can really bring us to a higher level of experiencing joy in our life, because they're rooted in those ethical principles that support the self and support everyone else around you as well. So you're like living in community, right? You're not living at odds or at war with anything around you. You're back to that ultimate goal of yoga, is to be in unity with the interconnectedness of all life. And so that non-violence and being truthful, right? You're also observing and studying and being content and disciplined in these ethical principles. These are some of the strongest ways to live, and the science really backs this up as well.
Exactly. And speaking of community, 13th to 15th of September, Brian and me, we are hosting Holistic Wealth Fest, where you can actually practice some yoga, but there is way more to it.
Yes, there's going to be 12 different highly experienced practitioners and teachers and coaches, and we're all joining in for a celebration online over the course of 3 days this weekend. And we're going to be talking about how to optimize all these different important aspects of our life that we were never really taught in school. So we have a yogi coming in to show us the benefits of movement and some of the philosophy of yoga as well.
And just to mention on that point that it's not like a regular yogi guy. This guy used to work with
engineer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not that, yeah, you need to have a typical, let's say, yogi career. Absolutely not. A lot of people are transitioning from their important jobs to do something that they feel more passionate about. Yeah. So Krishna found more joy through yoga. So I'm wondering like how to increase, how we know it, right? Like we have the insights right after practicing yoga for quite some years. But how our listeners could increase their joy through yoga.
The science has really proven that both exercise and yoga gives us a mood boost up to 12 hours. And so that's why I really like doing both yoga and exercise in the morning, because of that effect, right? It's called the feel good effect, right? The feel better effect. And it boosts our emotional state. So we can combine that with both smiling, right? That's very simple, right? It's being in the moment and letting go of the racing mind and simply focusing on our breath rhythmically with the body, and simply doing a sun salutation in the morning, smiling with the rhythmic breathing.
Could you explain what is sun salutation?
There is a set combination of asanas, like a choreography. And it is the waking up of the body, welcoming in the day, right? And giving thanks for being there with the sun in the morning.
Yeah. So basically, just so you know how it looks like. So you take a deep breath in and put your hands up like you would like to give yourself a high five up in the air. And then you do the exhale down and you touch the ground or as much as you can. Then you do the inhale again, and then you made your back straight, like a little girl or boy would like to put a teacup on it, and you are great, so the cup cannot move. And then you do exhale again. You jump or move your leg back like you would do the plank or a push-up. And then you exhale, you go lower yourself down to the ground. Inhale, you arch your back a little bit, straighten your arms. Exhale, and then you put your bum up high in the air, which is downward facing dog. And then, exactly, and then you move your feet closer to your hands again. Inhale, the teacup position. Exhale, down, and then clap your hand in the air. You've done it. Was it visual?
Yeah, it was 100% correct.
So if you are interested, if you put Sun Salutation, then you will find it online, and it's super simple. And actually this one, I think it's activating every single muscle in your body because it's just so diverse. So highly recommended. I've done a couple thousands of those for sure in my life.
Yeah, and there are also certain asanas that really can create that joyful flow in the body as well. There's both the camel pose, there's cat-cow, and one specifically called happy baby, right? These just really bring us, like those poses really bring us into a joyful state. And there are also more general movements that can bring us joy as well. It's just like stretching our arms out, like really, really wide and arching our back, and then having a smile like this is just going to bring in joy, right? Because you're taking up space. You're not really collapsed. You're out here, right? And then, how dance can really come into it as well, and bouncing to a beat or even jumping for joy. That's where that expression came from. So there's a lot of more general ways that you can go about it as well.
I think we can just give them task of the week. So you can either join the Holistic Wealth Festival and do the yoga with Krishna, or watch the replay and do it as well. Or you can go outside, put your feet on the grass, smile and stretch a bit and just feel your body. You don't need to do anything specific, just feel it out.
Yeah, let the sun come in and then hit the skin. Close your eyes, have a nice deep breath, and you can even, do some simple asanas like stretch down, touch your toes, right? Get really wide and as tall as you can, arms up in the air, right? Just some simple movements like that to stretch the body out, and it can really get the blood flowing and get the breath in the rhythm with the movements. And, all you need is about 60 seconds and boom, the body's feeling better, the mind's more quiet. And, when it comes to people around you outside, who cares? You're being happy and joyful. So, right. And then just repeat that prescription over and over and over.
Exactly. Yes. Namaste to that.
Yes. Namaste.
So guys, thank you so much for listening today to the episode, or watching, depends. And do some yoga, or try if you want to. If not, then it's also okay. We will come with different methods, right? How you can be more joyful and move a little bit as well. So make sure to join our Facebook group to hang out more. And we are going live on Thursday on Facebook and Instagram. We are looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you so much for listening.
Yep. And we'll see you in the next one. All right.
Bye.
Good night.